This is a short bite episode of Homeschool Together. Hello and welcome back to Homeschool Together, Short Bite Edition. We are talking about a game today. As always, we're getting back on brand here. We're talking about board games, and this is the game of Cartographers.
Right. So this is a flip and write game. So we talked about Welcome to Your Perfect Home, which was a great game that's also in the same genre. This one's really neat. So you are the king's or queen's map maker, and you have a sheet of paper, and you're going to be drawing in basically Tetris shapes, various Tetris shapes. And it's an interesting game because there's lots of choice in how you draw in your Tetris shapes, and they have little symbols on them, so it's kind of fun. You can use colored pencils if you want, or you can use crayons, or you can use pencils and then make symbols. But basically,
there's a little bit of an art aspect to it,
right?
Yeah.
So what there's 4 different scoring conditions that you're trying to get to. This game is a 12 and up, and we've played it with our 7.5-year-old, and I really think that it's probably better at a 10 at least.
She understands it. I just don't think she has the full grasp of what she's trying to. I would say maybe try with an 8 or 9-year-old.
Yeah, so this has got 4 scoring conditions that you're trying to go for, and it'll be you'll get 2 points for every village square that's next to a mountain or whatever. Whatever the win conditions are, the scoring conditions are, and at the end of the round, you will score 2 of those conditions, and then the next round you'll score the next 2, and so you're kind of going around and you're going to be getting just 2 pieces of the pie. It's done in seasons, but essentially you're getting to score 2 different score conditions at the end of each round. And a round is played where you're drawing a card that has a couple of Tetris shapes on it, and it has them of different types, like maybe it's field and river or whatever.
Or water or villages or whatever.
Right. There's
all these different types of
forests. There's a few different types. And so you get that, and you get to decide which of those 2 shapes with its corresponding landscape type, do you want to play, and where do you want to draw it on your map? Because you're the one making the map. So you're really thinking about okay, I want to save the spots near mountains for villages because that's how I get those points later on. So there's a lot of strategy with this one that's really neat. One of the things that's fun about it is that hidden throughout the deck, and it comes up every once in a while, is a card where you actually end up putting monsters or goblins on the map, and you end up having to switch your map with someone else. So you just pass it to the left. That person's going to get to put those goblins on your board, and for every space around that is not filled in with another shape, you're going to get negative points. Yeah. So you don't have a choice. Somebody else gets to draw on your perfect kingdom. So I think that's kind of a fun little part of it. One of the things that I think is really good about this game is that it can play an unlimited number of players. Mm-hmm. So it says 1 to 100 players, as many sheets as you want. If you want to laminate this, if you have a really big family and you can never find games for all 8 of you to play or whatever, this is a great game. Just like Welcome to, because there is no boundary.
Both of them are in the similar vein of kind of open, expanded games.
Exactly.
Great, maybe good for... Yeah, if you have gamer people and you need a warm-up game and you got 8 of them or something like that.
Yeah, if you've got a big group, big family, or it's not a complicated game to play. I wouldn't say that this is a casual game, though. This isn't a game for you to really... we've played it with your mom, but this isn't a typical play with grandma and grandpa type game.
It's not like a Phase 10 or something like that.
No, it's not a simple one. Because of the scoring conditions, you really do have to think about... you have to make some strategic decisions. You can't go horribly wrong. Our daughter always enjoys playing because she finds a spot to put everything, but she doesn't really maximize her score. Sure. She finds a place for all the Tetris pieces. So I love the tactile element of getting to, actually write in and do the drawing, and then kind of, your strategy about what you're going to go for and how you're going to try to fit things in. I don't know what it is about Tetris shapes that we always like.
And every gameplay is a little different. It's, with Silver and Gold being another good game like this, where you're playing Tetris shapes in. And there's just something about the idea of these little shapes and you're trying to fill blocks, and it's almost like you're trying to, it goes to my packing
Yeah, we were playing Patchwork, and it was the same.
I love to pack things in.
Yeah, you got these shapes. It's really fun.
King dominoes like that, queen dominoes like that, where you're trying to build in a fixed space a shape or a combination.
We were playing Blockus earlier. Our little one and me were playing it, and we weren't playing it. We just love because it's all Tetris shapes. Something about those is so pleasing. The whole thing.
It's sort of like a puzzle. Like if you enjoy puzzles, I would say if you're a family that really enjoys puzzles, you'll like games like this.
Yeah, I think it's true because there is a lot of thinking, but there's no real interaction between players except where you pass your sheet to have somebody write on it. Then you get it back, and you have to kind of like deal with wherever they put that on your sheet. Kind of like,
you're like, oh gosh,
I was planning something, So, but otherwise, there's no other kind of like take that. So it's a pretty mild game, and I think it's good for families that don't like any kind of take that type stuff. It's pretty mild.
A really good travel game as well.
Yeah, it's a great travel game.
And good to play at like, say, I think we played this. Did we ever play this out at dinner?
Yeah, yeah. You can totally play this at a restaurant because you have your sheets very small. It's like maybe like 5 by 6 or 7.
Yeah, they're pretty small.
And then it's a 1 deck of cards. So it's a very minimal game. It'd be great if you were like going camping or doing any other kind of travel. And we just really love how much, how many people it can play, because sometimes if you have more than like 6 players, it's really, really hard to find games you can play.
It's hard to find any game that plays that much.
Right. 7 Wonders will play 7, but there's a lot of games that won't play over 6. Yeah. A lot of them, heck, won't even play over 4.
Yeah, so it's like even Catan, I think you need an expansion to be able to get above 5 or so.
No, to get above 4, you need the 5 and 6 player expansion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So anyway, this is a great one. I really like this. There is an expansion for it, which we haven't gotten yet, but it adds even more. The boards are 2-sided too, so there's one that's a little easier, and then the one on the other side is harder because it has like a big a pit in the middle of it that you can't draw on, so it gives you even less space to work with. So yeah, there's a couple of options here. It's a really solid game. So if you like thinky kind of puzzle games,
and always pretty affordable, and they always kind of have a nice deal going on.
Yeah, it's not too expensive.
It's one of those really nice, really fun sub $20 games, and it's really hard to find really nice board games, in the board game world that are sub $20 that are really fun.
Yeah, you can usually find it between $20 and $25, and it's a really good, it's a solid game. I think it's a keeper. It packs really small, so we highly recommend Cartographers from Thunderworks Games. Thanks so much for joining us today and making us a part of your homeschool journey. Please engage with us on social media. Join our Homeschool Together podcast group on Facebook and find us at Homeschool Together Podcast on Instagram. We'd love to hear your feedback, questions, and recommendations. Until next time,
happy homeschooling!